There's a moment in the jet cage that I am so sure is identical to a moment in A Bird in a Bonnet, and it's the bit where Sylvester is hanging onto a wire going down the middle of the road and two vans come at him from either side. I'm sure it's the exact same frame for frame scene. I'll have to put them side by side, but that amused me. The animation itself is not too bad. The jet cage is a Warner Brothers cartoon from 1962, written and directed by Friz Freleng, and we have Mel Blanc as Sylvester and Tweety, and June Foray as Granny. And Granny buys Tweety this cage that allows him to go flying outside, so he can go flying outdoors, but inside this flying cage, which seems like a pretty decent workaround, so that Tweety can go and get some fresh air and feel the wind in his hair or his feathers. But it's not enough of a deterrent to stop Sylvester from trying to get at him just because Tweety is in a cage. Sylvester sees this as a challenge, and what we have is Sylvester trying various tactics to try and get the better of Tweety, to try and capture him. And needless to say, things don't always go to Sylvester's way. I quite like the idea. I like the design of the cage. It's nothing overly complicated or overly fancy. They could have gone with a more kind of futuristic design, but I think the more simple approach is actually the better one, and it works quite well. Little Tweety with his little helmet on is absolutely adorable, and the animation quality is absolutely fine. As I said, I'm pretty sure that scene in the middle of the road is identical, which just makes me wonder how many times do they reuse different cells throughout all of the cartoons and we just don't realise. And not that I have any problem with it, it doesn't bother me at all. It's a decent bit of animation. But I quite liked it. It's not one of my favourites, but it was an interesting enough concept with a decent enough execution. The jet cage is pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated. Well animated, good pacing. Definitely, although not a favourite, it's a pretty decent cartoon and one that I'd recommend.